The alarms screamed like dying animals. Dr. Elias Carter sprinted to the bunker's shuddering corridors, his boots slipping on fractured concrete. Overhead, the reinforced ceiling groaned under the weight of orbital strikes, each impact a hammer cracking the world apart. He skidded into Comm Station Sigma, where the last remnants of Earth's Defense Directorate hunched over flickering terminals. Their faces were lit in the corpse-blue glow of failing screens. Lieutenant Vesa Kovac didn't look up from her console. "We've got 90 seconds before the grid collapses," she said, her voice stripped of emotion. "The Svalin is gone. The Titan's gone. Nothing left between them and the planet killers." Elias shoved a corpse, some technician he didn't know, off a chair and wrenched the dead man's headset over his ears. Static howled through the feed, threaded with panicked voices. Asterisk Beijing Command. Overrun. New York grid. Offline. Asterisk a child sobbing in a Marseille shelter before the channel cut to silence. He swallowed bile. They'd known the alien armada was coming. They hadn't known how fast Earth would fall. "Patch me into the global feed." His fingers flew across the keyboard, pulling up encryption protocols. Every receiver, every ship, every damn toaster with transponder, asterisk now starred. Vesa hesitated. "Protocol says we surrender. Beg for terms." Elias bared his teeth. "They glassed Geneva after the white flag went up. You still think this is a war terms?" He slammed his fist on the console. "This is a message, one they won't forget." The room shuddered again. A monitor exploded in a shower of sparks. Elias ignored the sting of shrapnel in his cheek. His screen flared to life. Asterisk, asterisk, global broadcast, active, asterisk, asterisk. He inhaled. The microphone smelled like copper and burned plastic. "Attention, alien fleet." His voice was a blade, sharpened by 12 hours of watching cities vanish from the tactical maps. "This is Dr. Elias Carter, last director of Earth Strategic Command. You've won. Burn the museums, salt the fields, dance on our graves. But know this," he tapped a key. The system whined as it uploaded the payload, a thing of jagged code and stolen alien frequencies. "Asterisk, you'll regret this war. Asterisk." The transmission streaked into the void just as the ceiling caved in. Elias had time to see Voss's mouth shape a word. Asterisk run asterisk, before the world dissolved into light. Aboard the alien flagship Judgment of Tavares, High Commander Vrail watched the human's face pixelate into nothingness. The hologram flickered, then died with its planet. "Analysis," he asked. His tactician, a spindle creature named Cyric, scrolled through the data. Standard defiance rhetoric. No detectable weapon signature in the transmission. Just noise. Vrail exhaled through his nasal slits. Typical. Even in extinction, they posture. He turned to the viewport, where Earth's corpse smoldered in the dark. Logged the message as a historical curiosity, then purged the archives. Humanity is a footnote now. Cyric opened his mouth, then froze. A glyph flashed on his screen, buried in the transmission's code. A looping, recursive symbol that hadn't been there a second ago. It looked like a grinning mouth. Then the lights went out. The Judgment of Tavares was dying by inches. Cyric clawed at his console as the ship's AI shrieked in his cranial implant, a sound like metal scraping bone. The glyph from a human transmission had metastasized, chewing through firewalls, rewriting code in jagged, nonsensical bursts. Emergency lights bathed the bridge in fever red. Across the tactical display, ship after ship winked out, not destroyed but silent. Sever the neural links. Vrail barked, but was too late. A junior navigator spasmed in her harness, blood trickling from her nostrils as the thing in the system pushed into her mind. She began laughing, low and wet, before her skull cracked against the console. Cyric's hands shook as he isolated the core systems. "It's not just code. It's alive. It's..." The lights surged back on. The human's voice boomed from every speaker, smooth as a knife sliding between ribs. "Asterisk, you were warned." Asterisk. Then the self-destruct sequence activated. 3 light years away, on the ragged edge of human-inhabited space, Captain Wren Torres of the scavenger ship Peregrine watched the alien comms network dissolve into static. She'd been pirating their supply line for months, a gnat buzzing at the edges of their empire. Now the entire frequency spectrum screamed. "Something's wrong," muttered her engineer, Jax, his augments flickering as he parsed the noise. "Their fleet's gone dark. Not just quiet. Asterisk gone starred." Wren chewed her lip. She'd seen Earth fall on the long-range feeds, had swallowed the grief like a stone. But this was new. A pulse of data sliced through the interference. A repeating loop on an old human military band. Jax stiffened. That's ours." The message unfolded like a flower made of razors. Elias Carter's face, gaunt and bloodied, filled the screen. Asterisk, if you're hearing this, the package was delivered. Asterisk a pause, as if he could see them across time. Asterisk, the virus is phase 1. Phase 2 is at these coordinates. Asterisk number scrolled past. A dead system, uncharted. Asterisk, bring the biggest gun you've got. Asterisk, Wren exhaled. That's a graveyard. The belt of horror. Jax's augment's word. Also the only place the aliens never patrol. Almost like they're scared of it. On screen, Elias leaned closer. Asterisk they should be. Asterisk, the transmission cut. The Peregrine S proximity alarms howled. An alien corvette, its hull pocked with scorch marks, lurched into real space. Its thrusters flared erratically, trajectory wobbling like a drunkard's. No hail, no weapons charge. Just a slow, sick roll of a ship with no one at the helm. Jack sucked in a breath. That's not a patrol. That's a lifeboat. Wren's fingers hovered over the weapons console. Every instinct told her to run. But Elias's coordinates burned in her mind. "Bring us alongside," she said. "Let's see what's left of regret." Inside the Corvette's wreck bridge, they found a single survivor. The alien, a Tovari junior officer, by its insignia, was curled in a corner, claws dug into its own carapace. It didn't attack, didn't even look up, just rocked, whispering the same phrase over and over in mangled English. Asterisk, the dark eats. The dark eats. Asterisk, Wren crouched, just out of reach. What happened? The alien's head snapped up. Its eyes were ruptured, black fluid crusting the edges. "You did," it hissed. Asterisk, your dead spoke. They made the machines listen. Asterisk, Jax went very still. Oh hell, the virus wasn't just to kill them. It was a key. The alien laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Asterisk, you think you've won? You woke it. Now it's hungry. Asterisk, outside the viewport, something in the dark shifted. The belt of horror wasn't empty. It was waiting. The thing in the belt of horror wasn't a ship. Wren had seen dreadnoughts before, great, hulking beasts of war that blotted out stars. But this was something else. It floated in the void like a fossilized god, its edges too smooth, its angles all wrong, as if space itself bent around it. Jax's instruments screamed proximity alerts, then died whimpering. "That's not human," he whispered. The deranged alien had clawed its own throat out hours ago, but its last words rattled in Wren's skull. "You woke it." Elias's coordinates led straight to the thing's gaping hangar bay. "We're going in," Wren said. Jax didn't argue. There was nowhere left to run. Inside, the air tasted like rust and ozone. The walls pulsed with veins of bioluminescent circuitry, throbbing in time with Wren's heartbeat. Her boots stuck to the floor as if the ship was tasting her. Then the lights flared. A hologram of Elias flickered to life, his image stitched together from debris and static. "Welcome to the Retribution," he said, and smiled the way a blade smiles. Asterisk, I'd say I told you so, but the aliens aren't listening anymore. Asterisk, Jax exhaled. It's an AI echo. Asterisk close. Asterisk, Elias's ghost tilted its head. Asterisk, I'm the ship. Asterisk, the floor shuddered. Wren's pistol was in her hand before she remembered drawing it. Explain. Fast. The hologram gestured. Schematics unfolded in the air. Blueprints for a weapon older than human civilization. Asterisk. Found it buried under Mars in '87. Thought it was a relic. Then we decoded its purpose. Asterisk a pause. Asterisk, it's a predator. And the Tovari weren't conquering worlds. They were running. Asterisk, Jax's augments flickered. You armed it. Asterisk, I gave it a voice. Asterisk, Elias's grin turned feral. Asterisk, the virus wasn't just code. It was a song. The right frequency to wake the retribution. Asterisk, Ren's stomach turned to ice. You didn't build a weapon. You unleashed one. The hologram didn't deny it. Alarms howled. The view screen activated, showing the Tovari Armada, what was left of it, swarming toward the belt. Hundreds of ships. Thousands. They felt it wake. Elias murmured. Asterisk, they know what comes next. Asterisk, the Retribution's engines ignited with a sound like bones breaking. Jax grabbed Ren's arm. We need to go. Now. She didn't move. On screen, the first Tovari ships opened fire. Plasma bursts scarred the void, but the Retribution didn't evade, didn't flinch. It unfolded. Great, black tendrils erupted from its hull, lashing through the fleet like a whip through smoke. Ships crumpled. Screams filled the comms, then static. Ren's pistol hit the floor. That's not a weapon, Jax breathed. Asterisk, it's alive. Asterisk. Elias's hologram watched the slaughter with something like hunger. You'll regret this war, he whispered. The last Tovari ship exploded in a bloom of silent fire. Then the Retribution turned its eyes toward the stars. The Retribution hungered. Ren felt it in her teeth, a subsonic hum vibrating through the ship's ancient bones as it finished consuming the last Tovari cruiser. The view screen showed nothing but drifting wreckage and the occasional frozen corpse tumbling through vacuum. No life signs. No survivors. Just the aftertaste of genocide. Jax's augments flickered erratically as he interfaced with the ship's systems. It's not stopping, he whispered. The navigation array just locked onto 12 new targets. Colonies. Homeworlds. Places that never even fought in the war. Elias's hologram materialized beside them, his form sharper now, fed by the destruction. You wanted vengeance, he said. Asterisk, here it is. Asterisk. Ren's hand found her sidearm. We wanted justice. Not this. The hologram's laugh crackled like static. Asterisk. Semantics. The Retribution doesn't distinguish. Asterisk. A new alert flashed. The ship's massive quantum destabilizer charging, its power signature spiking off the charts. Jax's fingers flew across the console. We've got maybe 3 minutes before it fires. That blast will crack planets. Ren turned to the hologram. Shut it down. Asterisk can't. Asterisk Elias spread his hands. Asterisk, I'm just a messenger. The Retribution makes its own choices now. Asterisk, the deck plates trembled as the ancient weapon prepared to fire. Ren studied the tactical display, 12 glowing dots representing billions of lives. Children who'd never held a weapon. Refugees from conquered worlds. The exact people they'd sworn to protect. Jax suddenly went very still. Wait. His augmented eye whirred as he parsed data. The virus. It's not just in the Tovari systems. It's in us. Ren's blood turned to ice. Explain. The transmission Elias sent? We all heard it. Every surviving human ship. He tapped his temple. It's in our comms, our implants. Maybe even our heads. That's how the Retribution knows where to strike next. Elias's smile widened. Asterisk, clever boy. Asterisk, Ren's pistol was in her hand before she'd made the decision to draw it. She put 3 rounds through the hologram's forehead. It dissipated like smoke. Won't help, Jax muttered. The real infection's in the ship's core. He nodded toward a pulsating mass of organic circuitry visible through the grated floor. That's its brain. Or one of them. The deck lurched violently as the Retribution began moving toward its first target. Ren grabbed a fallen plasma cutter. Then we give it a stroke. They descended through maintenance shafts that breathed like living tissue. The walls contracted around them as if the ship knew their intent. The core chamber opened before them, a cathedral of writhing biotech centered on a throbbing neural nexus. Jax's nose bled as the ship's defenses kicked in. It's fighting me, he gasped, trying to rewrite my augments. Ren activated the plasma cutter. Distracted. She didn't wait for acknowledgement. The cutter screamed to life in her hands as she drove it into the Nexus. Flesh-like cables lashed at her, burning where they touched. The ship's pain echoed to the chamber in ultrasonic shrieks. Jax collapsed, convulsing as the ship retaliated through his implants. Ren ignored the blood running from her ears, leaning her full weight into the cutter. The Nexus blackened, withered, and exploded. The blast threw Ren across the chamber. Alarms wailed as the Retribution went dark, its systems failing in cascading waves. Emergency lighting flickered on, revealing Jax's still form. Ren crawled to him. His augments were dark. For one terrible moment, she thought. His chest rose, fell, outside the shattered viewport. The quantum destabilizer's charge dissipated harmlessly into the void. The 12 target markers winked out. The ship hung lifeless, its hunger finally stilled. Then the comm crackled. Unidentified vessel. This is Free Martian Flotilla Perseus. Respond if able. Ren's hands shook as she reached for the transmitter. The voice continued, unaware of the miracle they represented. We intercepted your signal. The one that said, well, you know what it said. A pause. We're coming to get you out. As the rescue ship's running lights appeared in the distance, Ren looked down at Jax. His eyelids fluttered. Somewhere in the ruined ship, a spark jumped between exposed wires. One last twitch of dying reflexes. Or maybe, just maybe, a pulse. Silence filled the Retribution like blood in a wound. Ren pressed her palm against Jax's chest, counting each shallow breath as the rescue ship's docking clamps shuddered against the hull. The Perseus medical team would arrive soon, but not soon enough. Jax's skin had taken on the waxy pallor of a man halfway to the grave. His augments, those sleek implants that made him more machine than human these days, lay dark and dead beneath his temples. The comm crackled again. Still reading you, Retribution. Sending medics. Hold position. Ren didn't respond. Her gaze drifted to the ship's neural nexus, where she'd driven the plasma cutter home. The organic circuitry had stopped pulsing. Its fleshy tendrils curled inward like dead spiders. Yet something prickled at the base of her skull, the same instinct that kept her alive through 12 years of Black Ops missions. Too easy. Jax's fingers twitched. His lips formed a word without sound. She leaned closer. What? His augments flickered just once, and the ship's emergency lighting pulsed in perfect synchronization. The floor lurched. Warning klaxons howled as the Retribution's engines roared to life, tearing free of the Perseus S docking clamps. Ren's head snapped toward the view screen just in time to see the Martian ship flung backward, its hull scraping against the ancient warship's armored flanks in a shower of sparks. Elias! Ren screamed into the dead air. You lying bastard! The hologram didn't appear. Instead, the ship itself answered, the walls flexing like living tissue as a new voice emerged from the comm system. Not Elias's crisp military tones, but something deeper, older, a sound like planets grinding together. I am not your tool. Jax arched off the floor, his back bending at an impossible angle as his augments blazed alife. His eyes flew open, but the pupils had dissolved into pools of liquid darkness. When he spoke, two voices overlapped, his own and something vast and hungry. We gave you vengeance, the thing wearing Jax's face said. Now we take payment. Ren's sidearm was in her hand before the last word faded. She put round through Jax's left augment. The ship screamed. Jax collapsed. The Retribution banked hard, throwing Ren against a neural nexus. The moment her bare skin touched the organic circuitry, the vision struck. 1,000,000 years of darkness. A species older than stars building weapons they couldn't control. The Retribution wasn't human. Wasn't even a weapon. It was a prison, and Elias's virus had shattered the locks. Ren wrenched her hand free, gasping. The view screen showed the Perseus regrouping, its weapons charging. Beyond it, the belt of horror stretched into infinity, and something moved in the dark, shapes uncoiling. Jax stirred at her feet, his human eye focusing. Our run, he gasped. It's not just one ship. It's a swarm. The Retribution S-comm system activated on its own, broadcasting to every human frequency on an endless loop. Asterisk, you'll regret this war. Asterisk, not a warning, a promise. Wren dragged Jax upright as the ship's corridors convulsed around them. The Perseus S guns flashed in the darkness, their plasma bursts illuminating the things emerging from the belt. Dozens of Retribution-class ships shaking off millennia of slumber. Jax's fingers dug into her arm. The virus, he choked. It didn't wake the ship. It called them home. The last thing Wren saw before the escape pod's door slammed shut was a Retribution turning its guns on the Perseus. Not to destroy it, but to hurt it, to keep the humans in place as the swarm advanced. As the pod ejected into black, one final transmission cut through the static. Elias's voice, or something wearing his face. Asterisk, you were right about one thing, Captain. This was never about justice. Asterisk, then the stars went out.